Ever since it was first unveiled in 2019, I've waited for a chance to drive the Honda E. The exterior of this car is almost like Honda took their 1970 Civic and combined it with their Asimo robot. Let's take a look at some of the E's measurements. It comes with a choice of 16 or 17-inch alloy wheels. The attention to detail on this car is impressive. The designers made it incredibly simple wherever they could. The taillights and turning signals are all within the same circular light, and the same is true for the headlights. The lights on the E aren't jutting out from the body like on so many other cars today. Nothing but smooth lines all the way around, including the door handles. The front handles are flush to the body, but are easy enough to pull open with one hand. They can also open out as you walk up to it with the key fob in your pocket. If you're worried about these electronic handles not opening, there's a backup conventional keyhole behind them you can use. The rear door handles are also flush-fitting and pull out easily. The trunk is tiny. There's just enough room in here for 2 carry-ons and not much else. There's no visible antenna, not even a shark fin style on the roof. Honda built it inside the C-pillar to help keep the design tidy. Probably the most unusual exterior design element on this car is the lack of side mirrors. They've been replaced by cameras. These cameras send their images to the screens located on the dash just inside the doors on both sides. There's no video lag of any kind, and the cameras are covered in a water-repellent coating which allows you to see out clearly even in a rainstorm. Charging stations, at least in Japan, are located at most rest areas along the highway. Once you exit, just follow this sign. Charging the E is pretty straightforward. The amount of tech in this car is pretty impressive. All the screens made me feel like I was driving a spaceship at times. Besides all the screens, the selectors for the climate control are more conventional. And below them are a ton of power outlets, including an HDMI port, which will come in handy later on in the video. The floor is nice and flat, so there's plenty of room to stretch your legs. It has a push-button gear selector, which didn't take too long to get used to, an electronic parking brake, and a drive mode button, which comes in handy if you want to see what this car can really do. So, what can it do? Well, there are 2 versions of this car. The regular Honda E and this car, the faster Honda E Advance. With this car, putting it in sport mode gets you 0 to 60 in 8 seconds. Not too bad for a little compact car. You can scroll through its interior screens just like you can on a smartphone. It also has a voice-activated assistant.
お腹すいた。
複数のレストランがあります。ジャンルで絞り込むか、リスト番号でお選びください。
Italian restaurant.
複数のイタリアンレストランがあります。リスト番号をお選びください。
The default wallpaper is a Japanese garden. If you're not a fan of the garden, you can switch it to a number of other Japanese scenes, including cherry blossoms, Sagano Bamboo Grove in Kyoto, and Shirogane Blue Pond in Hokkaido. Not impressed with the wallpapers? Fine. How about an in-car aquarium that's interactive? By tapping on the screen, you can feed the fish. There are different aquarium scenes you can choose from. While the E is charging, besides playing with the different wallpapers and feeding fish, you can also make good use of that HDMI port and plug a game system in. If you don't like the screen it's being displayed on, just switch it over to the other screen.
All right.
Now that I'm done kicking butt on this game, let's talk about some other features. Besides the side mirror cameras, there's also a camera on the back of the car to switch your rear view mirror to if there are obstacles or backseat passengers' heads blocking your view. It has heated seats and a heated steering wheel. Speaking of the steering wheel, it's a two-spoke wheel, something I haven't seen in cars since the 80s. Something else from the 80s is this fake wood on the dash and center switch area, as well as the bronze-colored seatbelts. Since I'm a fan of the 80s, I actually enjoy these retro touches. In the back, you'll find a couple of USB ports, as well as separate airplane-like privacy lights in the ceiling. Like other electric cars, this one is quiet. How quiet? Let's listen. Okay, so it looks cool, has a funky retro high-tech interior, and is nice and quiet. But how does it drive? The seats are fairly comfortable, the steering gives you good feedback, and since the motor's in the back, this is a rear-wheel drive car, which feels nicely balanced. But it's not all positive. There's room for this E to improve. The side mirrors might have that water-repellent coating on them, but it doesn't stop everything from interfering with their cameras. Something small on the passenger camera lens started to slightly affect the view on the screen inside. Eventually, it got worse and turned really glary. The rear view camera doesn't have any water-repellent coating on it, so using this in the rain is about impossible. There's an automatic steering system that you can engage with your cruise control on the highway. The car will maintain its speed and automatically keep you in your lane without worrying about steering. For the system to work, you have to at least hang on to the wheel, but you can take your hands off the wheel completely for a few seconds before the system flashes you a warning. This semi-autonomous driving system works fine when it's not raining. I found that when it was raining, the cameras reading the center line misread a reflection from the tracks on the road as the center line and steered the car over too far to the left side of the lane. That was a bit freaky. The navigation system displays so many colors on the screen that it's confusing to follow at times. You will be an expert at charging this car in no time, since you'll be doing a lot of it. On paper, the range is listed as being 136 miles or 220 kilometers. But in real-life driving, it's a lot lower, so you have to be a bit strategic with your driving route. Unlike other electric cars, this one doesn't have a front trunk, so your storage space is limited to the small traditional trunk in the back. With all that said, the Honda E does have a lot of potential. It has nice styling, a great driving feel, it's fairly comfortable, and it's filled with a ton of tech.
Woohoo! All right.
The limited range is its biggest negative point. This is the first iteration of this car, and I have faith that Honda will improve on it. If you live in Japan and are interested in renting the Honda E, the service I used is called EveryGo. You can download the app on your phone. It's an automated rental system, so you don't have to talk with anyone while picking up or dropping off the car. The pickup locations are usually in the back of a Honda dealership. After you find the car, you can scan your driver's license on the rear window sensor to unlock it. Inside the glove compartment, you'll find the keys. And tucked into the driver's side sun visor, you'll find the Honda charging card. Just be careful of one thing. Since this is an automated system, the car most likely won't be charged to 100% when you first pick it up. So be sure to leave some extra time in your schedule to top the car off before actually heading out. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of the Honda E. I'll try to get my hands on some more interesting cars to review in the future. But in the meantime, take care and have fun driving.